Hey guys, how's it going? It's Campo here. Got another Alliance War video for you today. My group, ADT 37, is going up against Kin, the brothers over here. I mean, so who knows? Maybe they're all related or something. I don't know. But either way, this is the team I usually take. Dr. Voodoo and Vision are both rank 5, and Magic is still a rank 4, but I end up doing a lot of power control nodes on my path, so I always like to have her anyway, and she's still quite powerful. So before joining that upper path, I always take these first 2 nodes, and then I take a couple more on the way to the mini boss. Usually, that's my path. We recently got demoted out of tier 3 into tier 4. We've been doing a couple scrub wars to make them a little bit easier. And so right now, the first 2 nodes are a little bit easier. Obviously, no risk of any of those characters. So the only thing that I have to worry about is strike back. So usually power control is key for this type of node, and I always bring in Vision just to kind of test the waters. And of course, it's magic, so power is a little bit of an issue here. Fortunately, I have Pacify Mastery, and as you can see, when I stun her and push her over a bar of power, it's not too bad, no limbo there. I make a mistake right here. I think it's fancy, I'll do my special one there, but of course I take a little bit of limbo damage because she gains that bar of power. I got lucky there that she did not proc limbo on her special 2 bar. But either way, we're in good shape now. The only damage I've taken is a little bit of limbo. Once again, the Pacify takes care of business there, no limbo. Then I do a proper power drain, no limbo, heal block, and that's enough to take her down. So what I forgot is that when you do a full power drain, she won't gain the strike back. But when you do a partial power drain, like that special one that I put on her, you will not only get the bar of power from strike back, but you will also get some limbo procking there. So that wasn't too good, but it was only a little bit of chip damage, and she wasn't too powerful. So in some scenarios, like in tier 3 and above, this is like a bleed node, but it's just enhanced bleed. So because it's enhanced bleed, you can't really guess who it is. So I look at those top 4 characters, and they're not really great defenders, so it's probably not one of them, but this can really be anybody, and it's not too hard of a node, especially because I'm bleed immune. Vision usually takes care of business. So kind of to my surprise, it's a Ronin, because he's not typically an Alliance War defender. And, I got the class disadvantage, so he's hitting pretty hard, even on the blocked hits and the parries. And I take a lot of block damage there. I take a block special 1. That was pretty bad. And I'm like, you know what? I think I'm just going to lock this fight down and only parry and power drain him. I know his specials are really easy to evade, but I was kind of thrown by the fact that it was Ronin, and I don't fight him that much. He's very easy, but I'm playing very conservative here, and I think I kind of paid for it a little bit, because if I had played more of a game of intercepting and baiting specials, I think I would have taken less chip damage. But oh, there was a perfect parry. That was kind of nice. But I wasn't feeling very confident, and I decided to just kind of do it that way. And it took 50 hits. I mean, he's a rank 3 5-star character. I had class disadvantage. It took 50 hits to bring him down, and I took quite a bit of chip damage there. So the first 2 fights, got him done, but Vision is a little beaten up. So hopefully I can use some of my other characters coming up, and save Vision for when I really need him, and we'll take it from there. So a little bit of time passes, and I did a little bit of arena grinding, and as you can see, my energy is about to fill up to 1 point there. So I move on to my next node, which is the Outlast. Basically, it just takes a little bit longer to kill the opponent, and they gain some buffs toward the end. This is pretty much Dr. Voodoo all the way. I usually have no trouble here. It's usually like a Juggernaut or Unstoppable Colossus, but the interesting thing is, if you looked, some of the opponents have been kind of strange. Like I had that Ronin, and there was like a Deadpool X-Force and a Storm in my feed in the chat below. So I see that Red Hulk, and I'm like, I wouldn't put them past them. to put a Red Hulk here with the class advantage against Dr. Voodoo, but fortunately it's just the unstoppable Colossus, and I fight him all the time, and he's kind of a piece of cake. So my key with Dr. Voodoo is, you got to see if the Mystic Dispersion is a thing, because you will trigger it. You have to watch out for the unstoppables, and then usually I put a poison on the character as fast as I can. So I don't see much Mystic Dispersion. Maybe it's 2, maybe 3. And there I got the even combo with the 5 Loas, and as you can see, that poison is going to be ticking for quite a while at about 400. So that's doing most of the work. I'm just kind of stepping back. That time I took a little bit of a risk and fired off a special 2, which got the power drain, which the power drain is going to do a lot of damage for me for a long time, reducing that power. As you can see, he's about to go back down to 1 bar. The poison has expired, so I basically just need 1 more combo, and that's the end of Unstoppable Colossus. So he's never too much of an issue. I mean, Juggernaut, similar fight style, but you never even have to worry about getting backed into a corner with Unstoppable Colossus at all, in my opinion. His specials are way easier to evade. And he's not too difficult, especially when Mystic Dispersion was maybe 3. It could have been 2 at that point. So not too bad. I pretty much ended up with full health on Dr. Voodoo and kind of made up for those mediocre fights with Vision. And we'll see how my partner does up on the route to that node 43, and then I'll be back a little bit later when I have full energy. So up next we have the Bleed node. And I don't even really check this guy's profile because this could literally be anybody, and the only option I have is to take in Vision. And as we're about to see here, the defender is Electro. Looks like a pretty beefed up Electro too, like a 550. So, you have to just do the best you can. I mean, you attack into him with the stun. Hopefully Pacify helps a little bit. Evade the special 1. That's basically the formula here, and you just know that you're going to end up taking a lot of damage. The specials that Vision has do not cause any of the static shock to happen, so I usually get up to a nice full special 2 and try to drain as much of his power. And then as you see, that took off a lot of health, but it didn't give me the static shock. So that's a little strategy, but ultimately there's not much you can do in a situation like this. Because you would normally face Electro with someone with defensive ability reduction, but obviously you need to deal with that 100% bleed. And Vision got the job done, and he's been kind of a beast for me in these Alliance of War. He's taken a lot of hits, but he's still alive and doing a good job. So next up, you can kind of see that my partner got that difficult path up to node 43 above me. So my job is to go to the mini boss. This next node is a kinetic reactor, which means they gain power when you're blocking and taking damage as block damage. No one there is a candidate for this node, so that doesn't really help. This is usually someone with either power gain, which is why I'm bringing in magic, or some kind of projectile special 1. That'll give you a lot of blocked hits. And as you can see, it's Spider-Man, who, he appears here every once in a while. Spider-Man is not my best fight in general. I'm not too good at him. I don't attempt to evade the S1. I just take the blocked hits and then go into him. So obviously I'd love it if Limbo was up when I'm doing that, but it isn't happening. And probably in about maybe 15 seconds, you're going to see my hugest mistake. Oh, that hurt. So I was getting a little nervous because it was Spider-Man, and I dashed right into an S2, which took off like a ton of health. So this match is over. I'm just like being aggressive and dumb, and I know Magic's dead anyway, just trying to get as much damage as I can. He evades that. I try to evade a special 1 right here, and it doesn't turn out too well. So that was pretty much a wasted fight. But at least now I know it's Spider-Man. And Dr. Voodoo is a decent counter to Spider-Man, because when you put on the any special attack and you possess the opponent, then you're in pretty good shape there, because the evade is reduced by half. So I bring in Dr. Voodoo, and there's only 15,000 health left, and this fight goes much better. So as you can see, the strategy is you never want to end a combo with a medium hit because you leave yourself vulnerable. I've gotten pretty lucky so far. Take the block damage, doesn't really matter because my regen is still going there. You know, so I'm just trying to get the parries in. And it's a little difficult in my head. Notice how I actually evaded that special 2. It's very easy to evade. The issue is you always have to keep track of even or odd combo. Right there, I tried to stun him and do an odd combo. I did end up possessing him, it's just he didn't take any damage from the special. So I'm going to kind of live in this Dr. Voodoo possessing Spider-Man zone for a while. And as you can see, that does a couple things. First of all, it reduces the evade chance, but also when you parry, it extends the length of the parry so that you can almost get 5 full hits in. So Dr. Voodoo is a very interesting counter to evade champions because of that. Normally you want to just keep the Brother Daniel over yourself so that you can get 100% ability accuracy on yourself, but on cases like that where you need to reduce their abilities, it's really nice to fire off an odd combo. Okay, so moving on now, this is an interesting node. It basically punishes you for getting hit. And I look there, and again, it's like no one's really, I don't know, this alliance has some interesting rank ups. You know, I saw like a Karnak there, and there was a Red Hulk earlier, and a Deadpool, so interesting choices for rank ups here, I gotta say. And it's magic, so magic is pretty easy to deal with Dr. Voodoo, but notice I do have the heal block up, so I will not be recovering any health in this fight. However, I did a pretty good job of not taking any damage. I made my one giant mistake against Spider-Man. So as you can see, no limbo so far because I am always pushing her over her bar of power when she is stunned, and the same thing there. So I got really lucky there, no limbo again. Perhaps she has a low sig level, we don't really know. I'm attempting to bait out that special 2 now. She's not really doing it, but there we go. And there we go, we got the power burn. And that's it. So that special 2 of Dr. Voodoo is pretty powerful, especially when you consider the extra damage that comes from the power burn. And usually if you're facing a 440 character like that, you can finish them off with a special 2 at the end there. So that was a pretty easy fight. Both of the magics I faced today went pretty well. And at this point, I'm just waiting for energy, and I'm going to go after that mini boss. So a little bit of time passes, and as you can see, one of my other teammates already had an attempt at the mini boss, and it's a Nightcrawler. And yeah, so I'm going to just attempt to take him down with Dr. Voodoo and save up whatever health I have for the main boss. Nightcrawler tends to pop up a lot here. He's not too difficult, but you know, it's pretty easy to make a mistake every once in a while. As you can see real quickly, the nodes there are only the Infinity Blast and just a little bit of a health and attack boost. So kind of like when I fought Spider-Man, the strategy here is to possess the opponent, and at that point you reduce the evade and you increase your parry duration, and you never want to end a combo on a medium hit. I'm only doing 3 or 4 hit combos, so here we go, we possess him. He gets 2 Spirit Venoms, which helps a little bit, and as you can see, look how long that parry is. There, I don't know what I did there. That's an easy special to evade, but I got hit, so that was my first mistake. So, you know, not a perfect fight by any means. At this point, I fire off a special 2, but I wasn't really keeping track because now the Brother Daniel's over me again, so he's evading like crazy again, and my goal is to get him back with the odd combo, which I'm able to do right there. So at this point, he should be dead in the water, right? I mean, I have him just where I want him, intercept him there. I should be able to just parry him and finish him, but I get greedy here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, finish him with a special, but he evades it, and I leave myself open for some crazy Nightcrawler assassin range damage there. And that was just terrible. So what I learned from that is that, you know, if they're that close to dying and it's an evade champ, just finish them off with combos. Don't try to be fancy and do a special. Chaining on that special did me in. I still have a decent amount of health with Dr. Voodoo, and that was not good. So I bring in Vision, who is the last man standing, even though he has taken so much damage in this alliance war, and 4 hits is all you need. And Vision is the only one alive. So I'm a little mad that I gave the other guys, the other alliance, a kill there, because that I had him right where I wanted him. But I think it's not going to matter, because I'm going to kind of tell you the future here. We actually 100% explored this map, and we cleared bosses in all the battle groups. So I think we're in pretty good shape, especially if battle group 2 can get a 100% exploration as well. So I'm pretty sure we're going to win this war, which is kind of exciting because their alliance has a higher rating than us. We're like a 9 million, and they're like a 10.5 million. As you can see there, I'm kind of right around the 12% range there. So good war overall, 7 fights, and that's the end. So thanks for checking out the channel, and if you want to see more like this and tips and tricks for Marvel Contest of Champions, please hit subscribe, and I'll see you next time.